And we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sean and Saber Discuss. We are back because we didn't do the previous episode, and I owe Sean an apology.
How could we have not done the episode that I've wanted for years? How dare you, sir?
Look, I'm sorry, okay? There was a lot going on. I'm sorry. I failed you. I'm sorry.
You know what's funny? I'm pretty sure you said I was going to come on for that anyway in the first discussion we ever had.
I'm pretty sure I did. So I failed you even harder.
You failed me and you failed your past self.
Well, to be fair, I fail my past self a lot.
Okay, that's fair.
Yes, but no. Legit, so glad that you enjoyed that episode, and there were so many emotions you were feeling because it really was a good episode, even though I wasn't the target demographic for it.
What I can safely say, though, you felt some of those same emotions I felt last time, this time.
I did, yes. That's a great transition. It is the season finale. It's finally here, the end of the season, celebrating 10 or technically 11 years worth of Death Battle. And we're going out in a literal bang with Popeye the Sailor Man versus Saitama, the One Punch Man. So we're just going to go ahead and give you guys our thoughts on this massive episode because holy shit, I can see a lot of people saying that this is their favorite of the season.
Didn't this honestly just shut up whoever was saying that they weren't looking forward to this episode?
Yes. Well, okay, let's be real for a second. I understand there are people who don't like this episode. Hell, some of my friends who work on the actual episode, they were not looking forward to having Saitama in this early. And there's a good reason for that. Saitama's story is not finished. It still has a shitload of stories left to tell. So really, it feels like we were just getting a middle of the road Saitama, whereas Popeye has over 90 years worth of material to use.
Plus, he's still going too, so.
It's true, but unlike One Punch Man, Popeye's pretty much done it all. There's nothing that is going to make him as overpowered and broken as we've already seen him.
That wasn't necessarily like just the point of having Popeye in general. They're just like, hey, this would be a fun idea to have.
It's true. But regardless of that, I do want to make my thoughts on that clear real quick. I would have preferred if they had kept Saitama away from Death Battle just for a little bit longer, because right now, as the manga is currently going, God has showed up, and Saitama is about to punch the fucking ocean. So there is still a lot of craziness that is going on, but I get it. They wanted to do it. They had to do it. So really, all this does is just open up the door for Saitama to come back. But in my opinion, I don't think he should come back to fight Popeye again.
Not Popeye again, no. Maybe someone else down the line, but who knows?
Yes, absolutely. But, okay, with all of that out of the way, let's talk about the episode itself. Let's just go over it. What did we think, Sean? I want you to go first.
This was a fun episode in a lot of different ways.
That's good.
Like, that's the one thing I wanted, was just this episode to be fun and funny, because, like, I wanted that cartoonish feeling that you get from the Popeye cartoons, and we got that.
Absolutely. I think I can sum up my experiences with this episode in just like this. I cried 5 times watching this episode, 5 times rewatching it. I've never done that. I have seen every episode of Death Battle since high school, and I have never experienced that kind of emotion. But this episode made me feel those emotions.
To be fair, you know what's weird? We were saying this before we recorded. Like, I also cry versus Ice, and so if people are wondering, well, how does he share those feelings? There you go.
It's true. You cried during Monroe versus Eisen. Your only mate cried during Blake versus Mikasa. So there really is something magical about seeing your favorite characters come into death battle. And really, when you get right down to it, it's the quality of the episode that makes you feel those things. And holy shit, does this episode have a crap load of qualities?
Yeah, it had so many different animation styles too. Like, we start out hand drawn on a 3D background. It looked really, really good.
Oh yeah, this had to have been done. I'm pretty sure it is done. I did check the credits, and I think those names are the in-house Rooster Teeth 2D department, who have previously worked on other death battles before, and they've really come a long way since Genos versus War Machine and The Mask versus Deadpool. I'm using those two as an examples because they had a bit of what this style has cartoony, comedic aspects and some kick ass action. And they really did a good job of improving the flow of their sequences. There weren't many reused frames to kind of give the illusion that they're doing multiple things. No, they actually did this step by step, and I like it.
Is it odd that this is the second time they've worked on a One Punch Man character for one of their hand drawn animations?
It is, yes, and I guess that gives an indicator that maybe the One Punch Man character will lose. We'll see.
Maybe.
And then we switch to the more traditional sprite style, which was done by Luis.
Oh, was that my Luis?
Yeah, it was. It was done by Luis. I did. I think that was mostly done by Luis.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it is. And what gave it away to me was the cartoon was the 8-bit NES style sound effects because Luis does love those style of sounds and really taking us back to those good old days. And it very much felt like a video game level boss, and it was very good. And there was some even good incorporated cartoon effects in there too, like with Popeye blowing up his hand to making it bigger and all of that, which, oh my god, just so good. And then we finally get the 3D segment with Devil Artemis.
It's cursed.
I've seen a lot of people echo what Sean has just said. It really is cursed to see that iconic and infamous Popeye 3D model fight Saitama. And I'm not gonna lie. I've even seen some people say this was their least favorite part of the episode. Which, okay, granted, yes, I can kind of see what you mean, but that's really no fault to Devil Artemis because there is no other Popeye 3D model, and he would have had to make one, or they would have had to use assets. So they worked with what they had essentially. But
Well,
go ahead.
also, to be fair, the sprite section for this animation was really good.
Oh yeah. Well, 2/3 of it were pretty good so far, but then we get to the 3D aspect, and I loved it. I thought it was good. Devil Artemis alone doing this segment was kick ass, and just shows how far he's come in his SFM style. Like literally, SFM is as easy as breathing to him. It's just that simple to do now. But it would have
Oh,
probably been better if the other teams got together too. Like, I would have loved to see the Triple D team get in here as well.
are we sure this was Source Filmmaker or not Blender?
No, yeah, this was Source Filmmaker. I definitely recognize his style of Source Filmmaker between his style of Blender. It's very easy to tell and spot.
That's fair.
Yes.
I'm like, I love the It's actually like one of my favorite lines of dialogue. Saitama was just like, "How did you get so strong?" And of course, you got to hear the classic, "I eat me spinach."
Yes, and again, great transition, Sean. The voice acting, holy shit. I never thought Liam could pull off a fucking pitch near identical impression of Jack Mercer's Popeye. That was the second voice actor to play Popeye. So, and I was a little dubious to Liam being in here because I'm like, really? I didn't think he was going to do bad. I was just like, really? Liam? But he did voice Palpatine in DBX this year, and he did voice Spider with a top hat. So he does have some impressive range.
Yeah. I don't think anyone really expected Liam to be an official voice actor in a Death Battle, and now
No,
he has more wins than Phil does.
and that's so weird. It's just so weird. and but yeah, no. Liam did a good job of encapsulating the character that I and many other people have grown to love. He had the classic Jack Mercer mumbling. He, of course, nailed the laugh. He had the attitude, and he even said on the Death Battle cast, as he was writing, because he wrote and directed this episode, as he was writing the script, he would practice his Popeye lines to make sure that the script and the voice were in sync with one another because he wanted to pay respect to the previous actors that had played Popeye before, and I loved that detail.
What did you think of his singing towards the end, though?
Oh, it was good. Like he talk a big gamble, but now he is scramble. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. Toot toot. I love that. Like that is where I cried. I cried hearing Liam sing that song, or at least sing the sign off song. It was so surreal, and I love it.
They had to have done that, like for Popeye, regardless if he would have won or lost.
Exactly, yes. And then we get over to Ryan
Yeah,
Abedi. I'm just going to call him Ryan for short. But
yeah.
Ryan doing the voice of Saitama, I gotta say, I'm kind of glad they didn't get Kagi back because Ryan was perfect.
He did a really good job.
Like,
Just like,
yeah, good.
just like he can be the sarcastic and casual Saitama, and then into the emotional Saitama, like in a snap.
Yeah, exactly. And I really love that throughout this fight, what is going on is this is just another day for Saitama, and Popeye is taking offense to somebody not wanting to buy his spinach because it's expensive and all of that. But as the fight progresses, very much like All Might versus Might Guy and Goku versus Superman, there's something happening within the characters that they're overcoming. But it was mostly for Saitama this time, because as the fight progressed, he started feeling things. He started getting excited. And that bit towards the end where he's out in space, he's looking at the stars, and he's inner monologuing, that is the first tear that I shed. I was so invested in it, and I just completely forgot that this guy was voicing him. It was very, very good.
Yeah, and then besides like capturing like the mannerisms and all the characters, the writing, the script, as you were saying, from Liam was also very good for both these characters.
Yes, he really did understand how to write them. He understood the respect that they have. And really, when you get right down to it, I think Liam has really proven that he is probably one of the best writers working at Death Battle. And not only that, the best directors too, because if you just go and check his previous episodes, you can tell that they exude quality. They just have so much going on, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
And
plus, it just seems like Liam has fun whenever he writes an episode.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I totally get that vibe from him. And I also really got to give a shout out to all of the animators, like the 2D team, Luis, and Devil Artemis, because each of their animation segments really helped complement what pretty much everybody was just going to assume this would be a massive stomp. But they made it work, and you kind of forgot that Saitama was probably going to lose because they're just starting off the episode with him already killing Popeye. Like, you could just have it end there, but they didn't, obviously. And of course, Saitama getting turned into a bunch of eggs. Like, I think that did a great job of showing just how powerful these two are. And I also really got to give props to Al, the guy who does the Animax for these episodes, and of course John Mitchell, who did the story segment for Luis and Devil Artemis's segments. Those were really good, and just everybody did so fucking good on this. And then, of course, we get to the soundtrack.
I think it's pronounced Balderdash, right?
Yeah. Oh no. Well, no, that's the proper word for it, Boulder Dash. But the actual track is called Balder Dash.
Oh,
Yeah, because you get it. The Saitama is bald.
the Fairwolf was just like, what can we do as the animation goes along? Start out with a One Punch Man thing. Oh, we're going to sprites? Here's an 8-bit Popeye video game remix.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. I love how it does kind of show both styles of Brandon and their wolf. Like, you can tell which sections they did, and also to yeah, the whole 8-bit Popeye theme to accompany the sprite segment was fan fucking tastic. I loved it.
Kind of also forgot that Brandon also worked on this track, not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, because there are moments where you can totally pick up on their styles, and my favorite bit of this track is the end where you hear that I believe that is a 12-string guitar, acoustic guitar. You hear that and it goes
Yeah.
along well with the inner monologue, and then as the guitar slowly goes down, the music pumps back up for one final climax shot.
As someone who's played guitar, acoustic is always a good choice for monologues.
Exactly, yes. And again, I did. I loved it. And overall, I think we are probably going to remember this episode for a long time. And I really could not think of a better way to celebrate 10 years worth of Death Battle. I mean, I could. There are other matchups you should have done, but really, nothing can stop this episode from existing. It's here, it's gone, the season is over. So I guess now we should just give our rankings of this episode. Like, what do we what do we rank it as, Sean?
Like a letter grade,
I
I
guess so,
would
yeah.
probably as a whole episode, I would give it a B plus.
Okay. That's respectable. Um I'm just gonna probably pull a biff weed. I'm gonna fucking give it an A plus. It is. It's perfect. There aren't that many things that I would change about it. Everything in it was good from beginning to end, especially the analysis segments. There weren't that many cringe jokes, and there weren't a bunch of unnecessary stuff that they added. No, they kept it simple, and whatever jokes were made, they were legit funny. But I think the actual jokes in the animation, that's much better.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's it. It's done. Season 10 is over.
Legacy season, as I'm pretty sure a lot of people have kind of dubbed this season, has concluded.
Yeah, yeah. And we'll probably get into this into our own respective podcast, but I will say there were more highlights of this legacy season, but I really am excited to see what next season brings because we got a bunch load of combatants coming. But all right, so now we're gonna do something even special. We're gonna say what was our favorite episode of the Legacy season. Not top 5, not top 10. We're just gonna pick our number 1 favorite. So, Sean, I give the speaking ball to you.
Okay. So I feel like this is a no-brainer for a lot of people who have come to know me, especially like this year, what my number 1 is. My
Mm-hmm.
number 1 episode of this Legacy season is hands down Madara versus Aizen.
Yes.
Came in at everything I wanted it to be and then some, and this was arguably the closest episode fight this season.
Yes. I agree. I can totally see why. It is. I may not have been the target demographic for that, but it does do me proud to see Sean got his most wanted. And the actual episode itself, it's very good. It has some fast paced, adrenaline, entertaining moments. It's got great voice acting. The soundtrack is fucking amazing. And overall, it was nice to see Naruto and Bleach come back, even if Bleach had to take another L. But hopefully Sakura versus Rukia happens, so maybe that'll be the redeeming quality. Who knows?
Maybe, but like besides that, it's just everything about this. They were just like, you know what? We're just gonna throw everything we got at this.
You know, I don't know. Maybe this is just me, but I feel like maybe for you and a lot of other fans, it would have been better if that was the season finale. Because I really do feel like if I had to compare these two, I think Madara versus Aizen had much more season finale potential.
As much as I would want that to have been the case, I just don't know, honestly. Like, it would have been a great season finale, but in this type of season, I would have to say probably not the best idea they would have had. If this was a season finale in, like, let's say, like, last season or next season if they waited, then yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Right on. Well, no surprise to Sean, this is my favorite episode of the season. It has surpassed and replaced Poe versus Iron Fist.
What a surprise!
Yes, I'm subtle. I'm very subtle. But no, everything that I mentioned and the fact that this episode managed to be a culmination of everything that has come before in Death Battle and celebrating 10/11 years worth of the show in animation, voice acting, soundtrack, analysis. It really is, in my opinion, what a season finale should be. Now, am I going to say it's better than All Might versus Might Guy? Well, no, but it's tied with it. But I can say that it is most definitely better than Broly versus Hulk and Goku versus Superman 1 because it just made me feel more. Those episodes made me feel so much excitement, but this actually got me on an emotional level, and I appreciate it for that. So, yes, I love this episode very much, and I'm very glad that it was the season finale.
I think it was a good payoff at the end of the day for this to be the season finale, especially when you look at how just different this was.
Yeah, and that's really what I love. I don't like it when something remains the same because really, I know not everybody wants to accept that Pinkie Pie versus Deadpool is an actual finale, but different is what I like because I think we're all different. And this episode is a perfect example that you don't have to always go the Goku versus Superman or the Broly versus Hulk route where it has to be action spectacle. No, it can just be down to earth, climactic stuff. It doesn't have to be the end of the world. It just has to be a fight between two characters. And that's really what I like.
In some cases, the end of reality.
Exactly. That too. That too. But I do. Regardless of that, I want to say this was a great season. It's probably going to be in my top 5 favorite seasons, but I don't think it is my favorite season of all time because there were some fluffs that we had, and clearly there were tons of fights that a lot of people didn't like. But regardless of that, I'm excited to see what we get next.
Yeah, next season's gonna be a fun one, but we have to wait till March.
We do. We have to wait till March. And if you do want to know our thoughts on the next combatants, then check out Lads Discuss Death Battle.
We're going live tomorrow, suckers.
Exactly, yes. And of course, check out Brobuscast. We will get that out when we get it out. But thank you all so much for everything. And it means a lot that you're checking out these videos. I'm just a guy who makes this shit because it's what I like. And I love bringing on Sean. Definitely continue this, I promise. And thank you all again for checking out the hype trailer. It really means a lot that you guys would give a shit about a little trailer that isn't even that official. It's just to show my excitement. So, yeah. We'll go ahead and sign off.
Thank you, folks, for watching. I hope you enjoyed Sean and Saber discussions, work in title progress, whatever.
Yes.
Let us know your.
No, go ahead.
Let us know your thoughts on Satitma versus Popeye down below. Did you cry like Richard did? I'm genuinely curious.
Probably not. All right, folks. We'll see you later.
Bye.